At last I can finally get down to packing all of this stuff into boxes so that I can move house. I'm so glad that nothing in the world could possibly distract me from this vital work that I need to do that I certainly haven't been putting off for weeks. It's out! Oh come on, I'm packing to move house this weekend. But Tim, you're the chosen one. Well, if I'm the chosen one. Alright, quick video because I'm running out of time and I really need to get packing. I'm about to move house and all of this is about to go. Oh, my sweet, sweet Gandalf. Oh, my murderous party lover, I shall see you soon. I just want you to know that I appreciate each and every one of you standing behind me when I do this. But the trailer for The Dragon Prince Season 2 came out, and I wouldn't usually do 5 things you want to see in The Dragon Prince. You'll never guess what number 2 is! Because those types of videos are usually oh so terrible. But when I was writing out the major things that I wanted to see in the second season, it happened to be 5. So, number 1. Sauron and Claudia catch up with Callum, Rayla, and Ezran. This particular moment was set up in the first season, with Verin telling Sauron to kill the princes and him telling Claudia to take the dragon egg even at the cost of Sauron's life. It pretty clearly sets up a major character arc for both of these characters, and I would love to see that play out. Claudia, I think, is more likely to side with her father than Sauron is, because they sort of share the same worldview when it comes to dark magic. There's that line in the trailer where she says that it's just like primal magic, except you find magical creatures and you squeeze the life out of them. Which...
That's the great thing about dark magic. You just take creatures that are born with magic inside and squeeze it out of them.
Alright then. And we do see in the trailer that Claudia and Callum end up working together in some capacity, so we can probably guess that they don't kill them, at least not this early on, though we do see Rayla and Sauron fighting later on. These arcs have the potential to be as morally nuanced as Zuko's arc in The Last Airbender, and for them to have that kind of depth, there needs to be some kind of back and forth with them wanting to make their father happy, but also not harm their friends. Think of the moment where Zuko chooses Azula in Crossroads of Destiny. Now, I don't expect these character arcs to be resolved this season, given that Aradahaz has, I think, 5 seasons planned, but I would like to see some major beats in its development and its resolution in a later season some way down the line, rather than them just dropping it or resolving it too simply. Like, imagine if they met and it was just, Callum, I'm sorry, but I have to kill you. But Sauron, we're your friends! Huh, that's a good point. I would love to see some scenes where Sauron and Claudia grapple with who they are loyal to, whom do they serve. Say a scene where Sauron pins Callum against a wall, the rain pouring ever down, and he has to choose whether he goes through with it and kills the prince. And maybe, for the first couple of times, he chooses wrongly. He does try to kill them. It's also clear that Callum and Claudia are going to come into conflict over what kind of magic you should use. And as they mature, it'd be really cool to see Callum struggle with whether doing ethical things with unethical magic, sucking the life out of creatures and the world around you, is worth it. I think that's a really interesting question, and they could touch on that in a number of nuanced and interesting ways. Number 2, more world building. Something that I criticised about the first season was that it didn't have a strong sense of place. And I think that the Dragon Prince world does have the opportunity to develop that. Katolos is a great castle. The elven cities probably have a very distinctive character to them. Just the few shots we've had of the lava river on the border between the elves and the humans is going to be visually stunning when we see it in person a bit more. I really think that they could kind of give us a better feel for where we are in the world, giving us visually stunning and memorable places that help world build, rather than just showing us kind of generic towns and forest areas, which is where they spent a lot of the first season. But also, I'd love to see them do some more world building with their magic system. The trailer we got seems to indicate that we will be learning a lot more about primal magic and dark magic with Callum, and I would love to see them go through the different kinds of magic, the costs, the limits, the weaknesses that come with elven magic or dark magic. It looks like we'll be seeing more of the Sunfire Elves, like we'll be seeing more of one particular type of elf each season, as in we got the Moon Shadow Elves last season. And we got a tiny bit of the Sunfire Elves in the first season with the sun knife that they tried to use to cut off Rayla's band. I'm really interested in seeing how the different types of magic that each of the elves use contributes to their culture, to their politics, to the way they fight. And the trailer also features a huge red dragon, which is probably a sun dragon. I say that tentatively, but that's just because it's red. And all the other ones are kind of stars and earth and ocean, which don't really have kind of reddish themes. But clearly, dragons are a big part of the world building. So much of the tension in the story revolves around their role in the world. And bringing them back into the story, as well as Asmodeus, this will let us explore dragons in this world, how they work, how they think, and perhaps some of the history surrounding them, which we only got a few clues about originally. Number 3, Rayla's backstory. This may be something that they are saving for future seasons, but I have always had this feeling that we don't quite know what truly happened when the Great Dragon died. Rayla says in the first season that her parents abandoned their post. Abandon your post! Becoming traitors, and that she is ashamed of them. But we kind of already know that what most people believe about what happened isn't entirely true. For one, the egg survived, and 2, what King Harrow says about the past seems to imply that there is still more for us to learn, that there are a lot of secrets, that he has a lot of secrets. Think like the Avatar and the Fire Lord. That was one of the crucial episodes in Avatar that revealed a huge part of the history that we never knew. And if this is the case, then maybe Rayla's parents are a big part of this. Maybe they didn't abandon the Dragon Prince. Perhaps they were captured by Viren and put inside one of his coins. That's a common fan theory. Having Rayla finally get recognition for completing the task that her parents couldn't would be a really powerful moment for the story. It would also give her a strong reconciliation with her parents. Either that, or having them actually abandon the egg. That could also be another emotionally powerful moment, something that we don't usually see in TV series like this. We sort of focus on the honor of war and loyalty to your cause, but people get afraid during war. Maybe they could touch on that. They could go into the deep-seated fear that people have, and that in the face of danger, sometimes we fail. How would she deal with that? There's a lot more to her history, and I hope we really get to see some part of that, even if it's just a little tiny bit. Number 4, the mirror. Runan states in the first season that
you have found something worse than death
in looking at Viren's mirror, and I want to know what it is. What's inside it? What is it guarding? What is its magic? You give us so many questions, Aaron, and no answers. And I know that is what you want, but it's torturous. I think it'll add a big dimension to the story, I just don't know what. Some people have theorized that there's a dark spirit or a Dark Lord-esque type character trapped in there, which could make sense given that the symbols we see around the edge of the mirror are quite similar to the symbols we see on Viren's coin. They could possibly have a similar type of draconic magic, per se. Number 5, smoother animation and more fight scenes. The animation in the first season was one of the most commonly criticized parts of The Dragon Prince, and it's easy to understand why. It took a bit to adjust to, and even once you've adjusted, it didn't feel quite right at points. Like, I distinctly remember this moment where Callum is looking up slowly, and he goes, oof. I would really love to see them up the frame rate to give us a more visually satisfying experience. Now, this animation was chosen for a particular reason. It shone especially during the fight scenes. The angles were dynamic, the animation was smoother because the characters were moving quite fast. And that was what they were going for. It tended to fall flat in the kind of slower moments where they're not moving as quickly, which, given the nature of the show, is most of the time. The action scenes only happen once every so often. And judging by the trailer, I think they've listened to feedback, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they deal with the animation this season. I described the first season of The Dragon Prince in my review with one word: potential. And it does have immense potential. They've set up so much in terms of story arcs and character arcs. Conflicts like the bounty hunter who appeared and then vanished, as well as really good world building, or at least the framework for it. But so far, they haven't given us a resolution for anything yet. The ending of the first season even felt a bit anticlimactic. When I got to the last episode, I was like, oh, is that the end of the season? Not because it was short, but because it didn't feel like a climactic episode so much. But I want everyone to remember that we are only 9 episodes in. That's barely a whole season, and they were only 20-minute episodes. So we have to be patient, and I'm sure that Aaron will come through with an incredible story. I'm definitely going to watch it, and I hope you do too. Let me know your kind of thoughts, hopes, dreams, deep-seated emotional requirements, and where you get validation. Hang on, I'm getting distracted. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This feels weird. Have I just done a video in less than 10 minutes? No, it's not possible. I feel like a changed man. Brings a tear to the eye. Back in the good old days. Say goodbye to all of this set. I realised I said that last video, but that's because I didn't realise I was going to be doing this video. You'll see all of this stuff again one day when I've got stuff set up. Anyways, stay nerdy. Oh yeah, links to all my social media. Come follow me on Twitter and Facebook and stuff because I have to say that. But especially Twitter, because that's where I spend most of my time when it comes to social media. Stay nerdy, and I will see you in the future.